USA Today had their college football scribes all make a list of the top 25 coaches in college football. Released it today. This is not going to be a surprise to you, but 15 of the top 25 reside in two conferences.
Oh, no way. Which conferences are those?
The SEC and the Big Ten. Yep.
Mm.
And the top 10 is dominated by the SEC and the Big Ten. When you look at it, 9 of the top 10 are from the SEC and the Big Ten, which is pretty. I'm looking at this. I see 8 of the top 10, and I don't know why they said 9 of the top 10. Because if you look at it, we can go from 10 down to 1 here. Number 10.
Yeah, because Dabo and Freeman are both in the top 10.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. Number 10 is Brian Kelly of LSU. He's a really good coach. I don't like Brian
Not
Kelly.
a great person, but great coach.
Phenomenal football coach. A better recruiter than his recruiting videos would lead you to believe.
Yeah.
And, I mean, when it comes to X's and O's, his teams are always dialed in. At Notre Dame, it was a manpower thing.
Mm-hmm.
At LSU, he is doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Number 9 is Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, he's the portal king,
Mm-hmm.
goes in. Everybody makes a big deal about Dion going to the portal so much. Lane Kiffin rebuilds his roster every damn year through the portal.
And loses dudes in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Quinton Judkins. I mean,
the big difference between Dion and Lane is that Lane recruits the hell out of high school kids, too. And he maximizes his quarterback play. He does a phenomenal job. It'll be interesting to see without Jackson Dart what their quarterback situation looks like, but he is a bona fide, really damn good coach.
I mean, everybody knew Lane was a great coach. It was just about maturing and kind of finding who he was.
Kalen DeBoer at Alabama is number 8. You look at what he went through at Alabama this year. You never want to follow the legend. And, there was Bama got screwed. Well, they lost 3 games. And that is still a really good season. You saw what he did at Washington and really everywhere that he has been, deserving of him to be at number 8. Number 7 is Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. You're talking about a coach who, very young, but Marcus Freeman is really damn good. And he is young, and he has connection with his players. And you saw what they did in the college football playoff this year.
I'm going to be interested to see just how good Notre Dame is going forward in the recruiting area.
Without their GM.
Yeah, Chad Bowden, who's at USC now.
They're still pretty good. Still pretty good. Number 6 is where Oregon's Dan Lanning comes in. And you think of Lanning and Freeman going 6-7. Those are 2 guys that...
Good young coaches.
They're entering year 4.
Mm-hmm.
And we have seen what they've been able to do. Here's what they say about Lanning. While he's only 3 seasons into his career as a head coach, the 39-year-old former Georgia assistant has transformed the Ducks into one of the elite programs in the FBS. After reaching the Fiesta Bowl in 2023, last year's team went unbeaten in the regular season and has earned the top seed in the college football playoff bracket before losing in a rematch with the Buckeyes. Lanning is one of the biggest names among the next wave of coaches. Number 5 is James Franklin.
That makes my eyebrow go up a little bit.
I think he's a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joel Klatt released his top 25 post-spring. Penn State's number 1. And the people talking themselves back into Drew Aller is continuing. And I said this at the time. I think Drew Aller is a fine college quarterback. I don't understand the NFL love affair.
Yeah, we looked ahead of the 2026 NFL mocks, and he was like the second quarterback, and I'm just like, what? Why? Why? I don't get it.
Usually I reserve the judgment when you don't see a guy very much and you don't see him in high leverage situations. We have, and it hasn't been great.
No.
What they say about Franklin is a national championship continues to elude Franklin and the Nittany Lions, though last year's team notched a pair of playoff wins to reach the semifinals. While detractors will focus on what he isn't, Franklin has returned Penn State to national prominence and crafted a Hall of Fame-worthy resume. As with Ryan Day, a title would force a drastic reevaluation of Franklin's career. They're going to be really good this year.
Yeah, but
they are going to be really good.
The title part of that, it's like Penn State's never been anywhere near close.
Yeah.
On a talent scale. Not there.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of holes to plug too with Abdul Carter and Tyler
Tyler
Warren
Warren.
leaving, but they bring back that big core
Mhm.
outside of those two guys, which are big ones.
Yeah, and look, they've put a lot of guys in the NFL in the trenches in the last couple of years, but Tyler Warren was their leading receiver, pass catcher, yards, everything, because their wide receivers sucked.
Yeah. Well,
Like
they were banged up. Like they were good at the beginning of the year and then they all got injured.
eh,
Like they were
they
injured
they had
everywhere.
nothing to
Yeah.
go to, and it's not like they're not Ohio State. They aren't getting top 10 wide receivers in the NFL draft year after year after year after year.
Yeah. They're going to be an interesting one to follow. Sark at Texas comes in at 4. Dabo Swinney of Clemson comes in 3. And then you have Ryan Day at Ohio State as the number 2 coach in college football, according to USA Today. You win a national title, and all of a sudden, the whole idea of your 70-10 record,
Starts mattering a little bit more.
yeah, it obviously holds a lot of weight. And they got over the hump, and they went through it last year, losing to Oregon, losing to Michigan, and then they peaked at the right time last year. Number 1, and rightfully so. He has more first round picks and losses. Kirby Smart at Georgia.
Yeah.
Kirby Smart at Georgia, the number 1 football coach in the land, and I don't bat an eye at that one bit.
No,
Not one stinking bit.
Look, if you want to put Ryan Day up there, it's fine. He joins the list of 4 active coaches who have now won a national title. It was 3, wasn't it? It was Dabo, Kirby, and
Mac Brown, and Mac Brown's gone.
Yeah. So now it's 3.
He is now the 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Mac Brown, he gone. It's hard to win
Yeah.
a national title in college football.
Mhm.
And with Nick Saban gone, with even Jimbo Fisher,
Mhm.
Mac Brown, those guys out, it's a very small list of national title winning coaches. What I find interesting about this list is that it's not just dominated by the Big Ten and the SEC, and rightfully so. They're the 2 best leagues. They pay the coaches. That's where the coaches are going to go. But this is wholly a what can you do for me now list, because Kyle Whittingham, who is one of the top 10 coaches in college football, has dropped out of this, and he is now at 12 and he just can't find a quarterback, for God's sakes, but they still find a way to be competitive and good. But what stuck out to me was the fall of some really big names across college football, and what the change of scenery will do for you. And this isn't just these guys are great coaches, they're in great situations as well. That's why the Big Ten and the SEC is littered throughout this, is because the great coaches go to the places with the great resources. And some of the guys that have infiltrated the list are guys like Rhett Lashley, who wins the ACC in his first year of SMU being in the ACC. He's only a 3rd-year coach, entering his 4th season. He's done an incredible job at SMU, but what is the thing? SMU bought their way into the ACC. They've got unlimited resources. He pops up into this list. He is 1 spot ahead of Lincoln Riley at USC, and nobody would have had Lincoln Riley on this list at 23rd before last season, and he's 2 games over 500 at USC.
Over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
13-11 over the last 2 years will do that to you.
Yep, and this is a what can you do for me now? Not seen on this list, and Mario Cristobal's in at 25. Not seen on the list. Jonathan Smith has dropped off dramatically, and sometimes the grass isn't always greener, and you go to a new place, and after 1 year, people want Jonathan Smith fired at Michigan State.
I remember Stuart Mandel had his list, I want to say like 2 months, month and a half ago. We talked about it, and Jonathan Smith was like 14 or 15. So it's kind of eye of the beholder type stuff, and people are, I think, at least on the national level, interested and excited about what Smith's going to do at Michigan State going forward. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of very real, like, oh, what have you done recently? Because like Kirk Ferentz is on this list at 14, and it's like, well, what has Ferentz done?
He has consistently won at a school that never has a quarterback, never has an offense, and just finds ways to win in a really tough conference. And he and Whittingham, they get you guys
done it for 20 years,
have been so consistent for so long and so good, we can't deny you. Like they'd get the David Shaw treatment, right? David Shaw would be on this list. Guys like Spencer Danielson at Boise State, Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State.
Yeah, that
They're
one
not
surprises
making-
me when you talk about the most like.
Well, hold on. They're not making the list. They're not
Yeah.
in the top 25.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Not making that top 25 is surprising to me, especially when you're talking about the recency bias. Like Levitt right now is what, he's the third favorite for the Heisman,
I don't know.
depending on which market you look at.
Yeah.
Like you were turning most of your team. Now you are losing Scadaboo, which
Yep.
might be heart and soul of your
And
team.
Danielson is losing. Ashton Genty,
Yeah.
pretty good.
Pretty helpful guys. But both those coaches have shown what they can do, and for Danielson at Boise State, it's kind of like picking up a baton that was dropped, where Dillingham is starting it.
Yeah. And
That's the thing.
they're getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kenny Dillingham is finally, we've said it for years and years and years, sleeping giant down in Tempe. He's starting to wake them up, and consistency will be the key, as with any program. But they're finally recruiting at a high level. The coaches are not leaving in mass after you have one good season. Kenny Dillingham's a damn good coach.
Yes.
And he is going to make Arizona State consistent down there. That's the guy who's going to be on this list in a year or two. Or should be on this list now. He will be on there next year. I think Jonathan Smith, if he has a good year next year, he'll be back on this list, because this is wholly what can you do for me now?
Yeah. And that's the part of this. It's like, I think it's two very different lists when you're talking about who are the best active coaches versus who are the best coaches, quote unquote, right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's you can cut and slice that a lot of different ways.
I don't disagree, though, that 15 of the 25 best coaches reside in two conferences. And the reality is that's probably just going to continue to be that way.
Yeah.
Right? Like Dillingham, probably not going to leave Arizona State because he's entrenched there. He's from there.
It's his home. Like he's already at his
literally
spot.
where he's at. Dabo isn't going to leave Clemson until he retires. But outside of that, it's free game.
Or until they run DeBoer out of town in Alabama, and then maybe he'll.
Yeah, you're telling me that an SEC school isn't going to come calling to Rhett Lashley and say, "Hey, I know you got great resources at SMU, but
would you like even more resources?"
And come and do the damn thing. Yeah. I see this getting even more imbalanced, and look, that's a bummer for Big 12, ACC, and Pac-12 in the future of the Pac-12. But it's a reality that we live in now. All right, there's your top 25 coaches. As said by USA Today, Big 10 dominating, Dan Lanning of Oregon coming in at number 6.